Welcome to ASD Shine Bright, the podcast. I'm Corey Young. We are here at Tyson Elementary. We're doing a special edition of ASD Shine Bright. This is a multicast because at Tyson they do this really cool podcast called
Ravens Call Podcast. Thank you, Mr. Corey. I'm Eva, the school's president, and I'm going to ask Nandang a little bit about our Ravens Call Podcast.
Hi guys, my name is Nandang and I'm the William Tyson's Elementary Vice President. So our Ravens Call podcast is basically about the lives of kids who live in Anchorage, Alaska and go to William Tyson Elementary. Hey Brian, you want to tell us a little bit more about our Ravens Call podcast?
Sure. So I'm Bryden Zhang. I'm the Lieutenant President of William Tyson Elementary. And the Ravens Call podcast, we discuss stuff about school like we like or we don't like.
And we're also joined here by Miss Kavarik. Miss Kavarik is the librarian, a longtime educator here at Tyson. So she's also the correct word would be sponsor. A person for this. And so how long have you guys been doing this podcast?
How many episodes are we in?
This is like a fourth episode.
What are the topics you've done so far? You can pass it around too.
What was our first one about?
So our first one was introducing each other, basically talking about our ages and what we're going to do for future episodes also.
Right.
That's cool. Tell us your name.
My name is Giselle, and I'm part of student council in Tyson. and this is
The second episode was about Miss Booten.
our second episode was about Miss Booten and our principal, and we've basically talked about her age and what she does as a principal in the school district.
We actually had to edit that out, didn't we? Yeah. Something we're learning along the way, huh?
Yeah.
Why did we decide to edit out her age?
Because that's impolite.
Inappropriate, rude.
What do you think? Why did we choose to edit out her age?
Because it's impolite.
Yeah. So we decided we're learning along the way how we're supposed to interview people.
That is a good point. Even at my age, I've learned, especially, and it's not a nice thing to ask them their age. It's let them tell you first. Tell us your name.
Tell us the third episode about the food.
Okay. My name is Savannah, and I am also a part of the student council. Our third episode of the podcast was about the food topics and about our best favorite food and least favorite food.
You guys, tell me a little bit about why is it Ravens Call? What is the Ravens?
It's Ravens Call Podcast because our school, our mascot is the Tyson Ravens. So that's the Ravens. And I don't know where the Ravens Call came from.
Isn't that part of the call? Yeah.
I think that our Ravens Call is called that because, first of all, our mascot is a raven, and second reason is because this is a podcast and we're going to be talking to you guys and telling you guys the news about our ravens.
So
our school.
How do your fellow classmates, like your friends in the school and teachers, how do they respond to your podcast?
Most of them really like it, but I don't think the students have discovered it yet. I don't think most of the students haven't discovered it yet, except for our student council.
I subscribed.
Is the next step maybe promotion?
Yeah, maybe telling the whole school about it.
Right, so tell them right now. Say, make sure you go check us out on Spotify.
Yeah, make sure you guys check us out on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Spotify.
Oh, wow. You guys are competing with us.
And
They're going to stop watching ASD Shine Bright.
we also might promote it in our Raven Morning Show.
Yeah, in this podcast, it's video and audio, so we will show some of that awesome stuff. We'll have some clips to show you how they've been putting together that. You know, a lot of schools do their morning announcements like that. I think it's cool, so I'm glad that you guys are part of that too. What were you going to say, Brian?
So in the future, if you keep watching us, we're gonna update you guys with telling you guys about our specialists. And now to our questions.
Do you want to start with your questions?
Yeah, this is your podcast too. So I'll be part of Raven's call.
Landing can ask her.
Oh, okay. Then.
So, Mr. Corey, what persuaded you to work in media?
I have the mic, but thank you. What persuaded me to be part of media, it started off growing up here. I was part of a class called newspaper. I was in a class, actually there was like 3 of us that actually chose that as a career. There's a young, awesome writer named Julia O'Malley, if you ever read her stuff. Yeah, we were in the same newspaper class, and then a guy named Joe Freeman who actually grew up in Mountain View. I grew up in Russian Jack.
What do you guys do in the newspaper thing?
It sounds
in the
old
newspaper
school now
class?
because no school I don't think even has. I think I heard services trying to bring it up. But newspaper was so cool because we basically got to be reporters, and I was the features editor. I also, we had sports, regular news, and we covered the news of the school. But what really started me, I'll be honest, is like when I was in elementary school. When I was in elementary school, I ran for vice president, I won. When I tried running for president my 6th grade year, I lost to a girl, and I was like super upset. It has nothing, now it's silly, but I was like, my life is over. I was supposed to be the president, but then a counselor came up to me and said, "Hey, have you ever considered being part of the welcoming committee?" I was like, "What is that? That sounds boring." And she's like, "No, you make all the videos where you get to do all the tours and you show stuff." That literally started me doing videos. And so that's really what got me thinking I could do this. And then, like I said, with newspaper class, and then when I went to college, I started doing broadcast journalism. You know, I thought about radio, but TV was things I just loved, just telling that story. And so that's what kind of brought me here. And now working for the district is a little bit different. We get to tell stories, we get to work with media. I get to help other students do stories. And so that's why I got into media.
What was the main thing that you did in the newspaper class?
I was the features editor.
What do features editor do?
You get to do the really kind of the cool, interesting stories. So like I did a story on the tallest kids in our school, which is funny. Shout out to the Trombley brothers. I actually still know one of them, Adam Trombley, but his older brother, Aaron Trombley, was like, they were literally the tallest kids in our school. They all played basketball at East. If you know anything about East basketball, that's the school. But they were the tallest dudes. And part of the story was interesting is I thought it was super cool that they were tall. I was like, oh, you must get all sorts of cool things. You could dunk a basketball. And he's like, do you realize I have growing pains, that I have to have certain beds made a certain size? I walk into clothing stores and they're like, I don't have your size. They talked about cars. They can't fit into every single kind of car. So, you know, like a lot of these gas saving cars, they can't fit in because it just doesn't work for them. And so it's funny because Adam Trombley to this day, who went to East High School with me, he will tell you that he drives like a truck because of that. And so there's certain things about being tall that I thought was interesting, and they had feelings too. And so those are the kind of stories we did. I did much more. That's the only one I can really remember right now. But I liked telling the story of people that's interesting. And that's, if you think about it in life, we all tell stories, right? Your older family members, your grandparents, your mom and dad, they tell you stories of back in the day when I was like this, stuff like that, right? You hear stories. Everybody tells you stories. You will be telling stories. You guys tell stories to this day. You just don't know it. You're telling stories about what you did the next day. So we are a storytelling world, and it's good to tell stories because it helps people understand who people are. Oh, yeah.
Next question.
I think I wanted to share the mic.
Brian's turn.
How long have you been working here at podcast? In media.
It's been a while because I would say probably since like '99, but I did work at a school for a little bit up in Fairbanks. It was a high school called West Valley, and I worked in special ed, and then I also did coaching. I've been coaching for a long time, but I would say since '99, that's when I first started doing journalism, or broadcast, or media as you call it, and it shifted. It wasn't always podcasts. Nobody was really doing podcasts back then. There was no such thing, so it's kind of shifted. And, you know, with digital, you guys probably don't know this, but there was things called CDs. And before CDs, there was cassette tapes, and before cassette tapes, records, which have made a comeback. And then you may not even know this, in college radio, they do a lot of 8-tracks. So I remember doing a lot of recording in 8-tracks, which I don't know, it's probably not your parents, because those were my parents, so your grandparents would probably know about that stuff, 8-tracks, yeah.
Do you still remember your first school?
First school?
That you interviewed?
First school that I interviewed? Not really. I don't remember the first school, but I did cover education. One thing about covering education as a TV reporter, I got to cover the state. So I've been to a lot of rural Alaska, a lot of villages. What's cool about those schools, it's K through 12. And so you see kids all together and everybody kind of hubs around the school. And so you see more of a community. But I've also covered stuff in Anchorage in different parts like the Matsu Valley, Fairbanks, Kenai, other places like that. But I don't remember the actual first school, no.
Okay, I'm gonna start with the next question. What is your favorite thing about being in media?
I like hearing people's stories. One thing I used to always, there's this series that I think it's on CBS National, and basically the guy says, I think it was called like Made in America. Basically he said that everybody has a story. He used to actually throw a dart at a map and said that everybody would tell a story. And then this is old school, you guys don't even know what this is, but there's phone books. And he, in that state, in that city, he would pull up a phone book and scan. And I used to think, this is no way. He would literally go and tell stories. And there's these stories that were just amazing that people have. Every reason why I like media is because people have stories to tell. And it's up for us to be able to highlight those stories. Sometimes it's the stories, the unheard, those that need their story told. You know, sometimes it's just like a really good feel story. We need more of those positive stories as part of our lives in this world we live in.
Yeah, I would want to know all the stories too, because that would be fun. I have one that I made up. Have you ever gone out of Alaska to do podcasts?
Never out of podcasts. It's funny you ask because I have tried to do sports podcasts with some of my friends. We live in different places. The podcast though, we got people in trouble. What I mean by that is I got my friends' my friends, their wives got mad at them because we were talking way too long. It was supposed to be a 20-minute podcast, turned into like 3 hours. It was ridiculous because we were debating crazy stuff about who's better, LeBron or Michael Jordan, or who's the GOAT. And you know, I'm a San Antonio Spurs fan and Dallas Cowboy fan, and most people hate those teams for some weird reason, and so that turned to ever. So I have tried outside of the city, but it hasn't really panned out because it's too long. One thing about podcasts is you got to keep people's attention.
Yeah, that's a good reason. Okay, I'm gonna pass it on to Giselle for her question.
Does Mr. Corey have any hidden talents? Would you do that?
That's Savannah.
Oh, Giselle didn't have a question, sorry, and which is a good thing because we have a teacher walking through the background.
It's okay. This is normal life at Tyson.
2 questions and one of them
Eh,
was supposed to be 2
It's okay. It's all right, though. We didn't. Did you have a question, Giselle, you want to ask? You can pass it to Savannah. She can ask a question.
Yeah. After that, I want to ask you guys a question to kind of end too, if that's okay.
Mr. Corey, do you have any hidden talents?
You put me on the spot. I mean, back in the day when I was more like limber, do you know what limber means? Like flexible?
Yeah.
When I was a kid, we used to break dance a lot. You guys might have no idea. Yeah, but I'm not gonna do any of those moves because I might hurt myself. Yeah, today actually, this is a funny thing. Today's my birthday. And so I don't want to embarrass myself because my kids would say I'm old, which I'm not old, so I'm not saying that. But yeah, you got to stretch to do some of those moves that we used to do because we used to do all the spinning, and you guys seen the breaking, all that stuff. Oh yeah. Back when it was, oh thanks. I only said that because I don't want to be like, break my, ankle doing some crazy move. But yeah.
No idea.
Yeah, I used to be a well, I can't say I used to be a dancer. We used to break dance, and then I used to also DJ. That's another thing I like to do. And so I used to do old school with the records. Nowadays, it's all like digital. So if you ever see like digital stuff, like there's these apps you can do. So I love music. I've always loved music. So that's my question. So let me ask you guys. Do you have another question or no? You done?
I have another question,
Okay.
actually. It's also kind of a weird question, but had dinosaurs ever helped you?
I've never thought about that. That's a very interesting question. I'm going to try to answer that in a complete sentence. I think dinosaurs are fascinating. I've seen Jurassic Park. Have you ever watched Jurassic Park?
Yeah.
Yeah. They have like 18 million versions. Like there's some new one now. I'm just like, I thought they already took out the dinosaurs and now they keep coming back. But besides that, no, a dinosaur has never helped me in my life, to be honest, because I've never seen a dinosaur.
Since you like music so much, what's your favorite music genre?
If I'm being honest, I have listened to all. Like, I'm a big fan of every type of genre, and I'm not making it up, because as a DJ, I've loved to, especially living in Alaska. But I've always loved like hip hop and R&B, to be honest. Old school. Some of this new stuff is a little out there because they're literally copying stuff from back in the day. So I'm a very old school guy. But it's also because when I first again, it was like very good stuff. It was all positive. Some of the stuff. I'm not into crazy stuff, to be honest. But yeah, I like it all. I've listened to techno, country. Just name the genre, I can name an artist that I like from each one of those.
Do you have an ultimate favorite song of all time?
Yeah, I have a couple of songs. I'm trying to think of the ones. Let me think here. I like Tribe Called Quest, if you ever heard of that. It's a rap group from like the 90s. They're pretty. Yeah, you guys probably have no idea. You weren't even in that genre, but Tribe Called Quest is good.
You probably would recognize them if you
Yeah. So let me flip this on you, because I'm sure our time is running out on the podcast. I really love the questions. I love Raven's Call. I think this is super cool. You guys started getting really comfortable. That's what I like about it, because it's basically a conversation. So I'm going to ask you guys one question each, including you, Ms. Kovarik. Yeah, I'm going to put you guys on the spot too. So tell me a little bit about what is, that sounds like a Michael Jackson thing.
Michael Jackson's.
Man in the Mirror. I think that's what it was. I used to like a lot of Michael Jackson too, but anyways, tell me a little bit about, like, what do you want to do in your life? I'm going to have a different question for Ms. Kovarik, because she's still, I'll leave it for you too then.
My life already happened.
No, it hasn't already. So tell me, like, what do you want to do? What do you want to do when you grow up? And tell me why.
Like a job?
Yeah. I know you guys are only fifth graders, but.
I really, like a 911 operator.
Okay.
Yeah.
So emergency calls?
You have to be calm though.
Yeah, I am calm.
I like that. All right. That's good.
What's my question?
What do you want to be?
A marine biologist.
Okay.
I want to be a marine biologist because I think marine animals are cool. And I want to help endangered animals.
I have like two things that I really want to be. I either want to be a doctor and go to college for that, or I want to get a degree for teaching, cause I like kids a lot and I want to like help them learn.
That's awesome.
When I grow up, I probably want to be like in the military or something, but I'm not too sure.
I think I want to be either an animator, an artist, or a scientist because, of course, if I want to be an artist, I have to be good at art, which I can get that job if I'm like 16. And for a scientist, I can go to college for that also. But if I have the money, of course I can go.
Scholarships, you got it. I love it. I love the diversity.
When I grow up, I want to be an animator. I'm going to go back to school and I'm going to work specifically for Pixar. Coming at you, Pixar.
Ms. Kovarik, real quick, while we have you, how long have you been an educator? I know you've been like an elementary teacher as well as a librarian, but how long?
Right. This is my 19th year in the district, so I actually have been at Tyson the whole time. So I started with my student teaching in 4th grade, then I did 5 years in 1st grade, 5 years in kindergarten, and then I became the librarian. I bugged Mr. Keto until he let me be the librarian.
That's awesome. So tell me, if I could ask you a question about these students, and I know student council is bigger than this, but these are the 5th grade leaders, which are basically the top leaders. How does it feel to be part of this and the school, and like what it's helped these students learn about themselves and what they can become?
Totally. I am just like blown away by them every day because they're so brave. I can't even imagine as a 5th grader myself being so willing to put myself out there and try new things the way they are and speak in front of people, speak in front of my peers, and they just get better and better at it all the time. They're willing to try and make mistakes and get up again and do it again, and I'm just super, super proud of each one of them for all of that, and they make me laugh every single day, which is awesome. Definitely check out that 3rd podcast because it's something.
So last question for you guys: where can they find the podcast again? So it's called Ravens Call.
Ravens Call.
Here, pass the mic. Ravens Call podcast is on.
Ravens Call podcast is on
YouTube.
Facebook, Instagram.
Spotify.
That's a first. Okay, so all I have to do is type in Ravens Call, and it's up here.
Tell them about the YouTube channel.
Oh, YouTube. Yeah, what's the YouTube?
Oh, we also have a YouTube channel.
Well, it's called Tyson Tales.
It's
right?
called Tyson Tales with Miss Kovarik.
And there's a
There's
playlist.
a different playlist in it for all of our podcasts, and if you press on it, there's all of our podcasts that we have done in it.
I like that. So Tyson Tales, YouTube. On all those other outlets, it's Ravens Call. Just type it in. What were you going to say?
This is also going to be on the ASD YouTube channel, Shine Bright podcast. And also, make sure to watch our first podcasts. Our third one is the funniest. You might laugh. It's
Wow.
pretty funny.
You guys took my words. So you guys heard it. You guys know where to watch everything. Again, this is ASD Shine Bright, and
Ravens Call podcast.
what do you guys say is your call outside?
Tyson Ravens rock.
Till next time.
Watching.
Bye.
Bye, baddies.
Happy birthday.
To you, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Mr. Corey. Happy birthday to you. More on Channel 4 and Scooby-Doo on Channel 2 and Frankenstein on Channel 9 and Old Lady on Channel 80 and
I'm about to get out the right way.
because I don't know the rest. Happy birthday, bye.